There's no doubting what you have achieved on a technical level. This character is clearly state of the art. There are just certain design choices that were made for this design that we don't fully understand. We were hoping that you could shed some light on those. He can talk. He can kill. He's equipped with lots of withering so you can see his bone lungs and gut strings. He has a massive forehead. He can even stab people with his bone stone. With all due respect, those aren't the design choices we were curious about, Mr. Cawthon.
Complete the maintenance checklist before claiming it as salvage. Document. Prompt in 3.
I always come back. I always come back.
Shut up about my head. It is normal. It is a nice head. It does not look like a sodding tic-tac. I don't think you know who you're dealing with here. Look how tall I am. 6'5". Look at me, I'm like a beast.
Hello and welcome to this little redesign video. This is really something new for me since I haven't really made one of these essay type of videos before, but this is a topic I am really passionate about and I really would like to talk about it more and share my opinions and knowledge about it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Five Nights at Freddy's. Who hasn't heard of it? An amazingly crafted story, creepy uncanny characters, and fun gameplay with interesting mechanics. It really is one of my, and by further extension, millions of people's special interest. And why wouldn't it be? So many interesting examples can be used to explain its large fanbase, but one of them is probably the most important one, and the one I will be covering today. The characters. Who doesn't know them? Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Foxy the marionette. They have iconic designs and important roles in the story, but undoubtedly the most iconic and important character is of course Scraptrap, William Afton, the purple guy, the one who started it all. First seen in cryptic minigames and later revealed to be the main antagonist of Five Nights at Freddy's 3, one of the two original founders of Fredbear's and Freddy's, murderer of the children, the man who built the Funtime animatronics, the guy who got himself crushed in a suit and burned alive by his son, twice. But we won't be talking much about the original Springtrap. I will actually be talking about his second iteration from Five Nights at Freddy's 6, Scraptrap. Okay, so I might get some hate for this, but I actually like Scraptrap. He looks uncanny, his voice is so posh and smooth. If someone with a voice like that asked me to follow them into a creepy hidden room in a pizzeria, I would have also followed them. I like the concept behind him, but I also must admit the execution was peculiar in certain ways. I don't really have a problem with the suit itself, but mostly with the corpse and how its design affects the suit. So let's jump into that first. So, the elephant in the room, he looks nothing like the original Springtrap. The color is similar enough. The Springtrap is very round and bulky, while Scraptrap is very sharp and lanky. Springtrap is very nicely proportioned, while Scraptrap is not. Giant head, massive forehead, small ears, thin long limbs, and I'm not even gonna mention the corpse. Like, why does this thing exist? Springtrap's corpse was at least somewhat believable, but this thing is bad. But I like it as a concept. The flesh has been burned and is rotten off William's skeleton, leaving only the bones and a few remains behind, but this has been executed in such a goofy way. First up, bone lips, ears, and a full-on nose. Never mind the fact his skull looks nothing like an actual skull and more like a front-facing piranha. The bones in his neck, broken arm stump and leg are all smooth white, while the rest is this porous yellow mud color. Springtrap's feet were the exposed metal endoskeleton, while Scraptrap has actual suit feet, with weird guts going through it. And if we are talking about his endo, where the fuck is it? He just has a few goofy wires sticking out of holes and the weird cheese grater looking things for the ear parts sticking from his head. He also has these weird blob-like clumps on his suit chest. I don't know what they are supposed to be. I guess it's the suit sagging and deforming maybe. He has a similar hole in his chest like the original Springtrap, showing off guts endo. Come on, are these bone lungs? He has a single black button above this hole, just like Springtrap has. If you think Springtrap was full of nonsensical guts and strings, then Scraptrap has a surprise in store for you. Scott took the guts and turned them to 100. They are everywhere and make no sense whatsoever. He has these weird flesh balls on his chest. They almost look like he has boobs, and his pelvis is just one of said balls. Just look at those beat snack sticks. Lastly, his withering. Scott has a very peculiar, very busy art style. Just look at the Desolate Hope, for example. So many little details everywhere. It's cool to look at, and I do like it, but it can be a bit hard to focus on one part if every part is simultaneously screaming to be looked at. And I think this is not necessarily a bad thing, but it can take away from the overall design in some cases. Now I want to quickly go over some rules I will set for this redesign, and potentially more coming in the future if I so desire to make them. Do remember, these rules are more like general guidelines and I can ignore them if I find it to make the design better. Rule 1. I can't completely overhaul the design from scratch. It needs to take the original body shape and details of the design and stay true to its looks and vibes, and change things about it to make it better. Rule 2. It needs to be able to look good on its own, outside of the lighting and atmosphere in the game or renders it's put in. And Rule 3. It of course can't be a carbon copy of the original design. Changes, while subtle, do need to be noticeable. So what exactly will I be changing? First off, the proportions. I will make him feel a bit more balanced and more similar to Springtrap, while keeping his overall silhouette and body aspects similar to Scraptrap's original design. The anatomy of the corpse will be heavily changed to be accurate to actual human anatomy, so no more bone ears, lips and lungs, or giant clumps of gut string hanging around like Christmas lights. And lastly, I want to keep the design interesting without cluttering it up with unnecessary details, keeping it nice to look at while also staying simple and clean. I do also quickly want to add that just because I am redesigning Scraptrap, it doesn't mean I don't like him. Like I mentioned before, I do really like Scraptrap's design. I think it's overhated. And this is also not trying to dig on Scott and tell him that his modeling skills suck. Of course, that's not true. This is just how I would change and make him better. Okay, let's start with William's corpse. First and obviously, I made his corpse for the most part anatomically accurate to an actual human skeleton. I did stretch open the eye sockets as a reference to Springtrap's corpse having that design choice as well, almost as if the Springlocks has stretched open the bones slowly over the years, and because big white eye sockets are scary. I also added Springtrap's original eyes in this redesign. Since Scraptrap's eyes are just these weird metal balls with dots in them, they aren't really that scary or interesting. Springtrap's eyes look straight through you. They look human, with the veins, and fit William's design way better in my opinion. I also added all the mechanical endo parts using Springtrap's original endo design as a reference, intertwined with his skeleton, cleanly piercing through some bones and breaking and cracking through others. As you may have noticed, there are no guts except for a patch on his left cheek, since I want to convey that all the remaining flesh has been burned off, but I do really like how this patch specifically on his cheek looks in his original design, so I kept it. Instead of the weird mud yellow color the bones have in his original design, I made the bones consistently a burnt light greyish brownish color, and I added some few wires dangling around, and his finger ends are sharpened into claws, since that seemed like something Afton would do. You know, sharpening his bones on like the stone walls of a building so he can claw and scratch people. Same goes for his broken left arm. I added a little rope that ties them together and made it sharp and bloody. I always liked the idea of Afton using it to stab people. Lastly, I rusted up the endo and charred the corpse. After all, he did get burned in FNAF 3, so it only makes sense he wouldn't be squeaky clean, and that is pretty much it for the corpse. Now onto the suit. I mainly wanted to keep the head shape the same for Scraptrap, only tweaking the proportions of, for example, his forehead, snout and jaw to kinda resemble Springtrap's rounder silhouette a bit more. I gave him 2 sharp buck teeth and a nose that more resembles Springtrap's in shape. I kept the body more true to Scraptrap, only making the parts a bit more bulky and better proportioned. The withering is also mostly the same, only removing all the tiny little holes that really cluttered up his design. I got rid of the weird blocky patches and all the weird wires, instead choosing to make his burned and broken state more clear through the texturing I give him later. I also changed Scraptrap's color from the cactus shitty green to a more muted and cooler green, and also I returned the gradient Springtrap has on his legs, cause it looks cool. I added a charred and dirty texture over his suit and made his eyes glow brightly in the dark. And that's it. That is my Scraptrap redesign. Is it perfect? No, not really. I do kinda miss the wires around him. Oh, wait, I can draw. Just give me a sec here. Ta-da! That is my Scraptrap redesign, now actually done. Okay, I must confess this is not the first redesign I made for this video. It's actually this one. I was happy with it, but after asking some opinions from friends and in the FNAF Reddit, I knew I could do better, so here are some of the things I changed from these comments. Egeddon said, "This is nice, but it's missing the more human than machine take on Afton the original Scraptrap had. Add more skeleton. I do more ribs, but do what you think is best. But don't overdo it, cause then he'll look frail and make his ears a bit bigger." So I did try to add more bones and holes to see them through. I think it gives those zombie vibes. I think it worked, and it does feel a bit more corpsey than my first redesign. One Skag says, maybe make Afton's bottom jaw more visible by removing the animatronic suit's bottom jaw, and maybe it would look more like the step between Scraptrap and Burntrap. Although I don't want the suit jaw gone, cause I do like the shape it has, and it would take Burntrap's cool unique design gimmick away, I did make a jawless version just for you. Tell me which one you prefer in the comments below. And lastly, Relating Lunatic said, reduce his head size just a bit more. So I did shrink his head down wholly in the new redesign, and I also reduced his forehead a bit more, tweaked the proportions. I agree, it does look more appealing like this. So yeah, I think this was a great success. Drawing him was lots of fun, and I like blabbering on about stuff like this. I hope you liked the video and the design. And I would love for you guys to leave some FNAF characters whose designs you aren't happy with in the comments below for a potential future redesign video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.